So here we are, folks, the famous endorsement from the media. You know, I think it's really weird that the mainstream media is endorsing anybody at all. I mean, think about it. Why should Americans care what the mainstream media thinks of the election and who should be elected? Why does it matter? Well, the New York Times, nonetheless, has released their official recommendation for who should be president. It says here, in a break with convention, the editorial board. Here it says, in a break with convention, the editorial board has chosen to endorse two separate Democratic candidates for president. Oh my God, they're going to break convention. I wonder who they're going to pick. Maybe they're going to go with a social, communist Democrat and go with Bernie Sanders. That must be it. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised that they picked Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren? Complete and utter memes. Like, really? First of all, Elizabeth Warren is a well-known pathological liar. She lies and lies about... She's literally the biggest liar I've ever seen. I think she's a pathological liar because I don't even think she can control it. I think she actually believes her own lies. Like, there's nothing real about Elizabeth Warren. And honestly, when I look at her, I get a sense that she's clinical. And Klobuchar, or whatever her name is, I don't even know who she is. And I don't really care. But we got one person who's been lying their entire career, and one person I literally know nothing about because who cares? But of course, the New York Times is going to pick a woman. They're going to pick a pair of women because that's the only way to be woke. That's the only way to be progressive. That's the only way to do it these days. What a joke. And, well, I wonder who the New York Times endorsed for the last election. Oh my gosh. Broken conventions. In 2016, the New York Times, they endorsed Hillary Clinton for president. They broke convention, folks.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
So, of course, this is their opinion piece by the editorial board. The Democrats' best choices for president. By the editorial board. Best. This was the best they could come up with. A nobody, no facer, a nobody and Elizabeth Warren. That's just sad. That is the most pathetic, sad thing I've ever seen. And it's not new. You know, it's like not a new feminist thing to pick a woman because they picked a woman in 2016. And how arrogant do you have to be? We're breaking conventions. In other words, they only pick them because they're female. I think that we should pick the persons who are best suited for the job of president, regardless of whether they are male or female. I would be happy to see a female leader for America if they were actually worth the position. But when I look at Elizabeth Warren and I look at whoever that other person is, again, I know nothing about her, nor do I care. I don't see someone fit to be president. American voters must choose between three sharply divergent visions of the future. The incumbent president, Donald Trump, is clear about where he is guiding the Republican Party. White nativism at home. In America, first, unilateralism abroad, brazen corruption. Citation needed. Okay, that's bullcrap. That is a lie. That is slander. That is nonsense. Brazen corruption. They're so corrupt. What about the corruption of the Democrats and the DNC, and they're constantly getting called out? I've done tons of videos of CNN lying, of Democrats cheating, of corruption in Biden's campaign. Corruption everywhere. Obama was corrupt. Yet you want me to believe that, oh no, Orange Man is bad. It's all the Orange Man. Escalating culture wars and a judiciary stacked with ideologues. Oh, you mean like the Democrats and how they stack their ideologues everywhere? On the Democratic side, an essential debate is underway between two visions that may define the future of the party and perhaps the nation. Some members in the party, more like all of them, view the President Trump as an aberration and believe that a return to a more sensible America is possible. Ah, yes. The Democrats have a very sensible history. Did you know that the Democrats were actually the ones who enslaved people in the past? Did you know that the Special K times 3 was invented by the Democrats? They were the bad guys all along. They don't want you to think that, though. They don't want you to know that. They want you to believe and this is insane, that it was Republicans. But did you know? Republicans actually fought to free the slaves. Oh, that's what they don't tell you in cultural Marxist school. So there's nothing sensible about what the Democrats are doing. There's nothing sensible about this endorsement. It's clearly nonsense. Nearly any of them would be the most progressive president in decades in reference to Democrats, with significant issues like healthcare, the economy, and government's allocations of resources, redistributing the wealth, aka communism. Yeah, all these Democrats, all they want to do is higher taxes, crash the economy, and literally take your rights away, take your gun rights away, take your freedom of speech away, oppress those that are different and who don't agree with the extreme left and their crazy ideas, and basically ruin your life. I wish I was exaggerating, but people in the Democratic Party literally say, like, well, these white people have had it too good for too long. We need for them to pay their dues. Never mind the fact that people today all have equal rights, and the leftists, they tend to be masochists. They also tend to be quite sadistic. They enjoy being stepped on, but the only thing they love more than the Democratic Party stepping on them is stepping on other people. So they're worried about who can beat Donald Trump, but it's obviously not going to be any of them on their stage. The DNC is a joke. Bernie Sanders, a literal communist. He calls himself a socialist, and he pretties it up with democratic socialist, but we all know the truth. He's a communist. A communist. Those are vile, destructive. It's a vile, destructive ideology. So I don't believe anyone can actually beat Trump, certainly not in a fair fight. So why would they pick Elizabeth Warren? Why of all people would they pick? It was a privilege for us on the editorial board to spend more than a dozen hours talking to candidates. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that it only takes you 12 hours to decide who should be president, because obviously the New York Times, they know better than you. They know better than me. They know better than the working man who works to put food on the table, the working women who work to support their families. Oh, the New York Times knows better. Rich, spoiled journalists who sit in their ivory towers, who eat their fine wines and their lobster thermidor, and look down on all of us. They know exactly. The history of the editorial board would suggest we would side squarely with the candidate with a more traditional approach to pushing the nation forward. Oh, sure you would. Sure you would. What is that, warmongering? What do the Democrats really stand for? But more taxes, more social welfare, and more dollars out of my pocket. Less money to feed your family, less money to put food on the table. That's what the Democrats represent. They pretend that they're for the poor, but what they're really for is for the destruction of the middle class. That is what socialists do. That is the left. You see, a middle class is a threat to the elites with power. A middle class can vote. A middle class is educated. They know better. So what do they want to do? They want to create a welfare state where everyone is poor and reliant on welfare. Because when you're reliant on welfare, well, they own your votes. You see, the Democrats never wanted to end slavery. That's why they fought to keep it. Instead, they found a way to kind of create a new kind of plantation, an economic plantation. And they control the votes of the poor by putting them on the government's teat, aka social welfare. Oh, but they're going to break, they're going to have a true revolution. True revolution. They're going to break their tradition. Well, I'm certainly not going to read all this, nor is it worth the read, so I'm trying to, skim through here. So, of course, they mention, look, it's a lot of nonsense, so I'm just going to skip to the end. There's been a wildfire burning in Australia, larger than Switzerland. The Middle East is more unstable at this moment than any other time in the past decade, with the nuclear arms race looking more when than if. Basket case governments in several nations south of the Rio Grande have sent a historic flood of migrants in our southern border. Yeah, they have. And we should turn them all away. Because if you can't come here legally, you shouldn't be here at all. Global technology companies exert more political influence than some national governments. True. Leftist social media companies have too much control and too much influence over politics. And they're trying to censor everyone and control people. And of course, they bring up a fear-mongering. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read this garbage. I just can't stand it. I cannot stand it. The next president will shape the direction of America's prosperity. Well, Trump has been doing a good job. The economy's good. Unemployment is down. that doesn't seem to matter to the Democrats, because to them, it's all about power and being the elite. Like I said, they just want to create an economic plantation, and to do so, you see, for the elite to control people, they can't have a middle class, because the middle class is a threat. It's always been that way. So what is the one thing that these socialists and these leftists in history have always done? It's very simple. Remove and destroy the middle class. Destroy the American family. Destroy everything. Because that's what they can do. That's all they can do is take. And they sell you these sweet lies. Oh, it sounds so sweet, like honey. Oh, we're gonna help you. We're gonna give you free health care. We're gonna give you free welfare. We're gonna take care of you. Don't worry. Trust us. Just suck on the government's teeth. It'll all be fine. Never mind where the tax money comes from. Never mind the societal impact. Never mind the economy. Just vote for the Democrats. After all, they're the good guys. In quotation marks, of course, because it's not true. They're not the good guys. In fact, I honestly think they're quite bad. Any hope of restoring unity in the country will require modesty, a willingness to compromise. So none of the Democrats, is that what you're telling me? None of them can compromise. None of them can unite. None of them. It's not going to happen. So they're going to pretend like they're having this big debate, and they say, Miss Klobuchar and Miss Warren right now are the Democrats best equipped to lead that debate. May the best woman win. And that lets you know right there, right then and there, it's not about who's the best presidential candidate. I honestly think Andrew Yang would have been a better president than any of these fools. Bernie Sanders has no spine. Joe Biden has no brain. I don't even know who Tom Steyer is, and that already discounts him. And Elizabeth Warren's a pathological liar. Who do you want as president? If I was an honest American and I had half a brain cell left, I would say, no, I don't like these people. But I think the average American is smarter than that. I think they look at the left and they look at their platform and they don't like it. But then again, well, there's people who actually believe this endorsement actually means something. And I'm sure there's people who actually believe that voting for these people is the right thing. So there you have it, folks. The meme endorsement from the New York Times, 2020. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this endorsement from the New York Times? Do you enjoy my analysis of their insanity? Be sure to let me know. Now, as always, if you want to support the content that I make, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. There is a joining bonus if you're interested in that sort of thing. Check my pages, links in the description down below for more details. You can also donate via Bitcoin. I will expand those options. And share the video. I mean, I love laughing at this stuff. I love making fun of the left and the Democrats. Like, it's complete nonsense. And we all know this. I mean, it's anyone could see this if they're really paying attention. But I'm sure there's plenty of people who don't. So if you feel like this video is worth sharing, share it on social media. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.